So, right off the bat, on an intuitive stroke, religion could be used without the masculinity and eventually without the femininity, where it doesn't necessarily even exist, but it does. So it's a particular simultaneous nature of using a certain construct. You could say religion is one of them. You could say economics is one of them. You could say, arts and crafts is another one. And you could say, visualization storytelling is another one. You could say, whatever, like, we're understanding, like, intellectual politics to be, and me already, like, us already coming out of it. So it's not anybody like, oh, they did it first. It's like we're all being influenced by each other. And then all of that, like, we learning through experience, we learning through our own testimony, our own mythos, so it, like, boiling down to, like, all these things that we're talking about, it's like ultimately, however you're harmonic with the greater totality of reality, respectively, in this new era arena or whatever, excuse the etymology, is like within the new field that we're in, how much more so harmonic are we with that particular new field of light and dark, hyper respectively, because that is the leverage of energetics, that is the energy leverage, and how we're going to actually, like, survive in these new different ways, be sustainable in these new different ways, with and without the mind itself, and what's conducive and supportive for your mind. You're taking that for granted on a surface level, and even deeper than that, because these religions, they're being used in divine masculine ways and non-divine masculine ways, meaning this is what we've done with the mind. We've used the mind and we pushed it outwardly, an external way, for better or for worse. And then the divine feminine approach, with or without that, is like it's already its own thing that everybody's, like, kind of like, there's a, like, a subtle connection of how, like, you know um it could be pointed inwardly and used, like, the religion could be used as the ritual, and since the religion is the ritual, per your affiliation with different religions, then that's just like what kind of ritual you are. But it's how we're coming out of that, because what we came out of that, we already did the ritual, on a feminine intuitive thinking level. And that feminine intuitive thinking level is, we're using the ritual in like a ground up, bottom up type of way, because we're coming out of it. And since we're coming out of it, we're more or less, like, recollecting what does the religion have to offer, recognizing its distortions externally, and recognizing its non-distortions externally, and seeing just how the divine feminine and the divine masculine are in every religion, regardless of, like, the surface level debris of how it got diluted towards external detriment. And seeing how, like, on a deep feminine aspect, like, all of these religions are pointing towards the same thing. They're pointing towards, some type of inner path, and how they're all connected, and how they're all their own, like, collective stories that are, like, more or less have their own junction in the time stream, and how they have their own place in a particular place of time. And from that particular place of time, we have, like, unknown connections with those particular places in time. And since there's those particular places in time, it's just how you're perceiving anything to be. Because what we have to understand, like, how we're creating the reality of this collective hologram, it's a co-creation, and we all have different leverages of influences. And you could neutrally equate that to the original purified GHs without the duality forms, because it's the stream of original influences. That's what, like, we're misunderstanding what the Godheads are, respectively, and we're misunderstanding how we're co-creating this reality. So we can't really have particular excuses, because it's all about, like, filling up yourself with a particular type of awareness, and that constructive awareness needs to be shared so we can co-create the reality in balance. It's not about, like, just renunciating or just attaching or any of that such like duality polarized type of thing. No, we're doing all these things simultaneously. And it's ironic here because this chapter 5 right here, it's like what this casual script is pointing to, and that's what it being on its own logical tip, without, the misinterpretation of any, terminology. This being its own script and shloka bits being in a script respectively, is this particular chapter is pointing to our relationship with the matrix, how we're engaging with the matrix, how we got to the point of the matrix that we're at right now. This Gita is a neutral handbook and how we're incarnating in and out of the material reality. And this particular chapter is ironically highlighting our relationship with the matrix, respectively. On a neutral side note tip, how we are more or less could have leverage and credence to manage ourselves through the matrix, like beyond just like, any individual type of thing within like an economy, because this is like coming in and out of like the incarnation portal itself, going before the matrix and after the matrix, aside from like the inflow of the life respectively, the path of renunciation action. How are we engaging with the material reality based on our own previous masteries respectively, and everything else being a perk and nothing necessarily to be demonized unless it's used as a demonic thing. So I just gandered all that just from the first page, chapter 5, It's because the path of renunciation action, how much are we like within our spiritual life are we letting go, and what is our responsibility on a just a basic energetic level? What is that calling for us? And that's how we could materially attach on a beneficial high octave note. It's like on a like a healthy, beneficial note, on like just a constructive note, the constructive note being like how there is no attachment, but there is an attachment simultaneously because we're one with the Dharma and the Dharma is being matured, so that's chapter 5 of the Gita. So should I read a little bit of Sanskrit? Yeah, let's do it. I only got 20 seconds on this doc, 15, 13, 12, probably like 10 now. So take a breath. Sanyasam kadmanam Krishna Purnat Yogam Chan Samasi. Bye.